For a large chunk of my life, I had social anxiety. I would constantly just hide in my room. I wouldn't go out and I would act like I didn't want to go out. But the truth is, I was just scared. When I would interact with people, I wouldn't even be listening to what they were saying because my mind would constantly be racing. My heart would be beating. I would be thinking, what if they're judging me? What if I say the wrong thing? What if they laugh at me? It was always what if, what if, what if. My mind would constantly be spiraling to the point where I didn't even hear a word that they were saying. And as I transitioned into business and I decided I wanted to grow a company, I realized this was one of my biggest weaknesses and it was something I had to address. Because if I wasn't confident enough to speak to people, how on earth was I going to get clients? How on earth was I going to grow a business? It would not have been possible. But I've come a long way and I'm making this video to help anyone who is in the position that I was in, who knows that they struggle in social situations, they have social anxiety, they struggle to engage with people, their mind is constantly racing, but they know that this specific thing is holding them back from who they want to become. So that's what we're going to go over in this video. Strap in and let's get into it. And the first thing I want to emphasize if you want to overcome your social anxiety is you need to train your mind to be present in the present moment. Because what you need to understand is what even is anxiety? Anxiety is the fear of a future outcome occurring that is an illusion. It's all made up in your mind. But it's a fear that if I do X, Y might happen. Y is often not even guaranteed to happen. So, for example, if I say good morning to a stranger, they might just give me a dirty look and be like, who's this guy talking to? And that would hurt my ego and that would make me feel upset and that would make me feel like I'm not valued. That was the fear. That's what the anxiety was. But when you're present, you don't even have time to think about what could go wrong because you're just thinking, what do I need to do in this moment? And that is the most freeing thing, just being present, just being in your body, not in your head. It's such a powerful thing. But you're probably thinking, oh, yeah, be present. But how am I meant to be present? Don't worry. I'm going to tell you. One of the habits that really helped me when it comes to being present is meditation. And this is not some voodoo stuff, I promise you. All I want you to do every single morning before you do these challenges is to sit down, is to close your eyes, is to take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And do that for 10 minutes. Just set a 10-minute timer and just close your eyes and go in and out. And what you're going to realize when you do this is at the start, you're going to be thinking, what am I even doing? Then a couple of minutes in, you're just going to get very agitated. You're going to be like, oh, I'm just wasting time. Why am I doing this meditation thing that random guy on YouTube told me to do? It's a waste of time. In that moment, you just have to remain seated and stay calm and bring your attention back to your breath. And what you're going to realize is you're going to constantly have random thoughts coming into your head. You might be thinking, oh, what am I going to have for breakfast today? Or you might think, oh, like whatever you have planned for the day, you're just gonna have random thoughts. You might have things from your past. You might, yeah, just have random thoughts that come through. An exercise of meditation isn't to get annoyed at those thoughts or isn't to think, oh, why do I have thoughts and get all irritated? No. The point is to recognize the thought and let it go. Recognize the thought. Okay, yeah, I just had that thought and let it go. And you want to continue to bring your attention back to your breath. So as you're breathing in, you're breathing out, you want to keep your attention on your breath. When all these thoughts come in, keep your attention onto your breath. And at the start, it's going to be very difficult because you're going to have millions of thoughts coming in. But as you do it more, your focus on your breath gets a lot better. Where you can just have your eyes closed, you feel the thought, but you don't even grab onto it. You just let it go and you focus on your breath. And you're probably thinking, okay, how is this gonna make me more present though? Because being present, the art of being present is just being in the moment. So training your mind to just be on your breath is training your mind just to be in the moment. That's it. It's just about being in the specific moment that you're in. And there's no anxiety in the present. Anxiety only comes when you think of the future and what might happen. But when you think of the future and what might happen, you go back to the present moment. And by doing this for 10 minutes every day, you slowly start to train your mind to do this on default. So when you're in a conversation and then you start thinking of all these things, you're thinking, no, let me bring my mind back and just listen to what the person is saying and be present with the person. And just like anything in life, your mind is a muscle. And just like to grow a muscle, the more reps you do, the stronger you get. And it's the same thing with your mind. If you want to train your mind to think a certain way, you just have to continue to do the reps. So each time you have a thought, but you bring your mind back to your breath, that's one rep. And over time, by doing this 10 minutes every day, you're just going to do so many reps of this to the point where it just becomes how your mind operates. And this transformed my life, genuinely did transform my life. Because now when I'm doing things, I'm present. Let's say when I'm cold calling, I'm not thinking, I might get rejected, they might hang up. No, I'm just listening to the dial. Do, 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 do. And then when they pick up, I'm present. Hello, is this John? I'm present. I'm not thinking, my mind isn't thinking, what is John gonna say? I'm thinking about, hello, is this John? I'm just in that one present moment. And honestly, this alone would completely eradicate your social anxiety. I promise you it will. And it probably sounds like, that doesn't even make sense. But if you're present, you cannot have anxiety. Anxiety is the future, and you have to continue to remind yourself that. Oh, I'm sweating like a madman. It's so hot in the UK today. But anyway, that's just what you have to do. And that's the first thing I wanted to mention in this video. And the second thing relates a lot to the first thing, which is being interested makes you interesting. Don't listen to respond, listen to understand. And there's a lot I've just said there, so let me unpack it. A lot of us, including myself, when I had the social anxiety, one of the things that would make me anxious is, but how am I going to impress people, and what am I even going to say in the conversation, and how am I going to get them to like me, and all of these things would be racing in my mind. But then I read a book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, and it talked about being interested is what makes you interesting. And this is one of the most freeing things ever, especially if you have social anxiety, because you don't have to say anything to make someone think you're interesting. You literally just have to listen to what they have to say. Because think about it in your own life. When's the last time someone actually listened, like actively listened, and asked you questions and wanted to understand more about you? It's rare in this generation that someone actually listens. So if you can be that person for someone else, they're going to find you interesting. You don't have to talk about this crazy holiday and your crazy dreams and how am I even going to get there in the conversation. And I've been there where you start thinking, what am I even going to say? I don't know what to say. And that's why I can't engage with people. Stop. Back to step one, be present. And back to step two, being interested makes you interesting. So stop thinking about yourself and start thinking about the other person. Oh, what is it you do for fun? What is it that you want to do in the next 3 to 5 years? Ask them questions. And then that engages them. And then they start telling you things. And then, that thing you said there, tell me more about that. Just keep asking follow-up questions. Keep asking follow-up questions. And the funniest thing about this is the person will then leave that conversation and they'll be telling their friends, Effaturi is just one of the coolest people I've ever met. I didn't even say anything. I didn't even say anything. But because they feel like they were listened to, because they feel heard, because they feel seen, because they feel understood, which are all things that all of us crave, they associate those positive things with me and the interaction that we had. So take off this pressure that you have to say these crazy things and have this crazy story in order to be interesting to people and in order to have conversations. No, you literally just have to have the ability to listen, the ability to ask questions. And being present, again, allows you to truly listen without your mind just going elsewhere and to truly ask questions because you actually listen so you can pick up things that they've said and tell me more about your trip to Spain. Like, I've always wanted to go to Spain, so tell me, what was your experience of that? Suddenly, they're so happy telling you their experience of Spain, and you're the most interesting person in the world. So, as I said there, being interested makes you interesting. And let me touch more on listen to understand, not just to respond. Most people in conversations, they're hearing, but they're not listening. And what I mean by that is, yes, they're in the conversation, they might be nodding along, but you can tell they just want to jump in and say their thing. Like, you're telling them about how you want to start a business. Oh yeah, I've always wanted to start a business too. And they're not truly listening. Like, they might care, but they're not showing they care by their actions. So instead of putting all this pressure to respond, because I remember when I had social anxiety, I would constantly be thinking, what am I going to say? Like, what's an interesting thing I can say to what they're saying? Relax. Relax. Truly just listen to understand. And that mindset shift changed my life. It's transformational. Because when you just listen to understand, now there's no pressure to respond or say something crazy. You just need to listen. And what do you do when you want to understand something? You ask questions. You see how all three of these things link. If you're present, you can truly be interested in what someone has to say, which makes you interesting. And you can truly listen to understand, not just to respond. And they will feel listened to. They will appreciate your time. They will appreciate your attention. And you just made a great friend. This is what I had to learn the hard way through constantly being in conversations and overthinking and my mind just racing. And you just have to drop the pressure that you're putting on yourself to be the most interesting person with the craziest stories and say all of the right things. There is no right thing to say. Just truly just be present and be you and listen to someone. Listen to them. Be interested in other people, and people will love you for that. Genuinely, they will. They will love you for that. Like, when someone truly listens to me, I love them. I love that conversation. I walk away thinking, I really like that person. They might not even have told me much about themselves. But the fact they truly could sit there and listen, especially in this generation, how that trait is so rare. Oh my word, this sweat is gonna kill me. These are the sacrifices I make for you lot. So please subscribe. But that's what it's about. Just listening and truly caring about people. And this might be unpopular, and a lot of people might click off the video here and get offended, but I'm not here to make you feel good. I'm here to make you get good. And if that's the type of person you are and you truly want to overcome this thing and not just feel good and have a video of self-pity, oh yeah, I have social anxiety and I never overcame it and you'll never overcome it too. No, I'm here to spread positivity, but I'm here to speak the truth. And what I want to say is, I'm not saying you, but if you're honest, it might be for you too. But when I had social anxiety, I was very selfish. And my social anxiety stemmed from me only thinking about myself. It was always about, what can I get? What do I have to do? It was never about, what can I give? How can I help someone? How can I make someone else's day? It was always thinking about me. So I would be scared to compliment someone because, what if they, like, what even is the fear of complimenting someone? But what if they just don't respond? Cool. But what if they do? And what if that compliment makes their day? What if that compliment takes them from feeling down to feeling on top of the world? That's genuinely a great exercise to do if you have social anxiety. Instead of putting all this pressure on yourself to have this 25-step conversation and go back and forth with someone, just go on the street and just compliment someone. Bro, I really like your shoes, man. You see someone's face just light up. They'll be so happy. And again, you have an interaction with someone. And the more interactions you have, the better. Just like anything. If you want confidence in any area of your life, confidence comes from evidence. So if you lack confidence, you need to stack more evidence. And I hate to be the one to break it to you, but you're not going to overcome social anxiety sat in your bedroom. You're just not. You're going to have to put yourself out there. And the things I've said in this video, you're going to have to put them into practice. Start with the meditation, be present. But that alone isn't going to solve the problem. You're then going to have to go out and start actively listening. And at the start, it might feel uncomfortable because your whole life you've just been listening and thinking in your head, oh, what am I going to say? And how am I going to come across cool? And no, just stop and just listen and just practice that ability to just listen. Not just and then respond. No, just listen and then ask follow-up questions. And okay, maybe you're not comfortable enough yet to do this to a random stranger. Do it with your friends. Again, just listen to your friends and ask them follow-up questions and just try to understand and be interested, genuinely interested in what they have to say. And then another place I loved to practice when I was getting into it was Ubers. Because in an Uber, it's a safe space. It's just you and the taxi driver. And you can just ask them any question. Oh, where are you from? Oh, cool. When's the last time you went back? And then I just constantly ask people these questions. Before I know it, I've had a 10-minute conversation, which for me was a big deal when I first started this series. Because, yeah, I struggled a lot in social situations, but this has transformed my life. Genuinely has transformed my life. And I think the biggest thing is I now feel free. I don't feel that same pressure I once felt to perform and to impress people, and that internal voice that's always telling me, you need to do this, and what if they think this, and all that negative self-talk is just gone because I'm just present. And this isn't me saying I completely overcome it and I never have any problems. No. Sometimes when I'm cold calling, especially if I've just been rejected, that voice comes back and I start thinking, yeah, what if I get rejected again? And what if they hate me? But I've trained my mind to realize the thought is there, acknowledge the thought, but then bring it back to the present moment. And that's one of the most powerful skills you can have, because being present, it's called present for a reason. It's a gift. It's a gift. Being present is the only place where you can actually change your life. You can't regret your way to a better past, and you can't anxiety your way to a better future. You just have to be present. Honestly, that one thing will transform your life.